What's up, guys? So in this video I want to show you guys the layout and how to use this mix template. All right, so we have the logic mix template open right now. So let's talk about the layout very quickly. If you see, everything is in folder, well arranged, well organized, all tracks well arranged, well organized, and I'm going to be showing you what each track is doing. So on this right now, let's zoom in a little bit. So this is the first thing on the screen. We have the drum boss, right? The drum boss is pretty much, I have a note somewhere. If you are familiar with how to use your logic, right? If you click on this note section, there's a project note and there's track note. So on the track note, you can add a note for individual track. So if you want to understand, in case you forget at any point, you can click right here and you see what the note is saying. The drum bus is where all the drums comes through. All drums are routed through this bus right here. All right. So if I close this folder, all the drums are closed, right? If I open, all the drums and even each drum group individual, folder as well is routed through this drum bus. So we have hi-hat right here. We have the kick drums. Okay. All the kick drums are coming out through the kick drum bus. All right. The snare bus, again, just snare bus. All the snares are coming through here. All right. The toms, all the toms are coming through here, right here. And the overheads, all the overheads are coming through here. So what are we doing in each of these ones? This is the hi-hat. All right. As you can see, there's a note in here that is telling you like how we gain staged this particular instrument, or how we can stage this particular track right here. The highest audio true peak dB decibel is just about minus 13 decibel, and I'll demonstrate what all these things means. All right. Okay, so if we continue, usually I always recommend when you want to start using this template. All right, if we open up all the tracks, what I would like to do first of all is I want to turn off everything. All right, I want to turn off all the plugins, everything. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm turning off all the plugins, all the sends. Okay, just turn them all off. All right, and I just did that right now. Okay, we just turn off all the plugins on this template, and there's a reason why I did that, and I will still keep explaining, so that when you drag and drop your full files in here, they won't go all crazy. All right, so let's keep on going here. We have the kick drums. Again, if I click on the note, it's telling you what the recommended true peak is as at the time, right? So we keep this going right here. Nothing crazy. All the snares are here as well, like I said. So if we go on to the next one, right, we have the percussion. If you have percussion left and right, if you have your bass guitar, all right, this is electric guitars. If you have electric guitars, you can put that there. If you have the bass, all the bass are coming through here. If you have a bass guitar or a key bass, a synth bass, it comes through here. This one is what we call the bass parallel compression, right? So the bass here is sent to this parallel compression, and both the bass and the parallel compression come out of the bass bus. You will see things like that very similar going through all of other places as well. For example, drum parallel compression. A lot of all these drum tracks are coming out. For example, the kick bus is going through the kick parallel compression, and all of that. The toms as well, and all of that, they begin to come out. You see bus 20 right here is the drums PC parallel compression, and everything, all drums and its parallel compression comes out of the drum bus. Okay, I'll keep it rolling here. We have a lot of keys depending on what you're using this for. If this is for like a live stream template for your church, for your program, all right, we have a lot of keys that you can just select your track in here. All right, we have a lot of sends as well. For example, if I go to the snare bus right here, you start seeing your reverbs. We are not, for the sake of CPU usage, we are not using one reverb, for only snares. This is just for snare reverb. We're trying to maximize the CPU usage and keep it very, very low as much as possible. And this is why, all this reverb are also used for other things. And the drums reverb are not only coming out of the drums channel or the drums bus. Okay, so this is pretty much the layout of everything. It's simple to understand. BGVs, for example, we have all the BGVs right here. The soprano has its own bus, alto has its own bus, tenor has its own bus, right? And then we have the BGV parallel compression. All of these are coming out of the what? BGV bus. Very simple to understand. On the soprano bus, for example, the only thing that is going on right there is just a tiny little bit of an EQ that we are applying, just to shape the soprano, because we understand how they sound. And also the same thing with alto, the same thing with tenor. Very slight EQing going on all the three of them. All right. On the track itself, we already have, an EQ, waves tune, and what we call the gain. All right. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit. On all tracks, we have this gain button. This gain plugin right here is supposed to help you to adjust your own gain structure. If you want to quickly get, a gain plugin to kind of quickly adjust your own gain structure, right? Just something you should be aware of. Okay, so let's keep this rolling. Let's keep this rolling right here. We also have VCAs. Okay, so for example, if I scroll all the way down here, or if we go to our mixer, channel, okay, we have VCA set up. So for example, right here we have, if I make this a little bigger, all right, we have the band or instrument VCA. You see the band or instrument VCA, what it means is all instruments are coming through this VCA. The lead vocal VCA, all lead vocals, okay, are coming through lead vocal VCA. The lead verb VCA, all lead vocal reverbs are coming through this VCA. So if you adjust this, your reverb for the lead vocals will go up or go down. Okay, the lead vocal delay VCA. If you want to do delay throws and you want to quickly, be able to adjust that, it's right here. BGVs, you can adjust your VCA for the BGVs. Right here. Audience, if you have audience microphone, you want to adjust their volume here and there. If you want to quickly accentuate out their sounding, you want to make them louder or not, you can adjust that very quickly here. Speech, if I go back a little bit up, speech, we have something called a speech bus here. So for example, if you have a pastor's microphone or a preacher's microphone, or if you have somebody on the altar who's just speaking and praying, or a prayer mic, whatever mic you have that is used for speaking or for praying, that doesn't need a lot of processing, reverbs and delays, we have them coming through here. All right, so speech VCA, you can adjust that here. Playback VCA, what does that mean? We have a playback bus right here. For example, if you have a technical team that plays announcement, all right, left and right, all the announcements cues is coming out stereo, coming out of here. Playback, video playback, left and right. Okay, and then we have the mix bus right here. We are mixing. This mix bus, what it says, it has no playback. So everything else except the playback is coming through here. And why do we have this? The reason why we have this is because sometimes the announcement is fading into whatever it is that is going on through the service. So sometimes you want to quickly adjust the mix bus. For example, adjust it. You want to fade this out. Why fading this in? And this mix bus has everything else, all tracks except for the playback. All tracks are coming out of here except for the playback. So if you take this and you bring it all the way down, you're bringing down the front of house, what we call the front of house, or the entire church or the entire music, except for this playback. And then you can slowly fade this one in. You can fade this out and fade this in. Or you can quickly mute this and let this one let this one play. All right, if that makes sense. Okay. And this is the master. This is the final master where the limiting is happening. Just two-stage limiting right here. This is everything. This is this and this coming together outside. coming together at this master bus. All right, this is the mix bus for everything else except for playback, and this is the master for pretty much the entire thing. Okay, uh, just going up again, just to kind of explain what's going on. Right here again, we have stems right here, we have saxophone, we have the BGVs, I've talked about that. We have the lead vocal. Sometimes you can have more than one lead vocal 1, lead vocal 2. Sometimes you can, and then we have the parallel compression here. Okay, the reverbs, all our reverbs are here: ambient verb, a church verb, a played verb, a room verb, hall verb, lead vocal verb. Okay, and like I said, you can always check here for the notes. You will see the the gain structure for this. So let's talk about the use case one. If you want to use this for your own music production, for your own mixing, for your music production, and for your content, let's do an example. How would I start? Like I said, I would usually start by turning off all the plugin first of all. And I want also, like, if you don't know how to mix at all, if you don't know how to mix, also pay attention to, especially in Logic, it can be very tricky when you drag and drop something. It will sometimes change the volume, and it will just take it to like minus 3 dB. I don't know why it does that. Maybe it has something to do with my settings. Probably have to do that. If you have your own settings, done, you probably don't have any problem. That's fine. I'm not sure if this is the one. Honestly, I don't know. But I know that sometimes when you drag and drop something here, it might changes your volume right now, your fader volume right there. So you want to pay attention to where this is at before you drag and drop something. So for example, I have a project that I produced from back in the day, and we're going to go into the folder for that. So let's do a couple of examples. Let's do a lead vocal example, and we do BGV, and we'll maybe do bass and drums depending. All right, so what I want to do here is I want to, let's say you want to kind of just quickly mix your vocals. So I have the lead vocal right here.
This one is for all the unstoppable and supernatural people.
Okay, great. So I want to go to my lead vocal right now. Let's say this is my lead vocal. Lead vocal is at 0, so that's fine, no problem there. I will drag this. All right, and then I know that my
This one is for all the unstoppable.
I know that my tempo for this song is at 98. You can also adjust your tempo. If you know what the tempo is, adjust your tempo to 98. If it's a 4/4, 6/8, 3/4 time signature, or if it is a custom time signature, you could do that as well. So let's drag and drop this. I will zoom in a little bit more so that I can drag and drop at a place where I really, really want it. All right, and then I'll drag this, drop it in here. Okay, so now I've dropped in. So it's telling me the sample rate of this project is this. Okay, I don't want to change my project. This is at 48. This stems at 44.1. I don't want to change my project. I'm just going to say convert file. I want to stay at 48, depending. And if you want to, change your entire project, you could do that. Now this one has markers. I don't want to import marker. I don't really need to. Okay, so now we have our lead vocal in here. All right, now that we have our lead vocal here, one thing I want to do is I can check my notes and says with all plugins turned off, my true peak, my highest true peak, it has -4. So what I want to do is I want to maybe go to where the signal shows me that this is the loudest part of the song, somewhere around here. All right, loudest part of this lead vocal, it says it's a -4. So if I play that section,
Not a man. I can do the impossible.
so I'm seeing about -7. What I can now do is add a little bit here, maybe like 3 dB, to give me around that -4, right? Just a tiny little bit. Don't overcomplicate the maths. Just do something around that. So now
I can do the impossible.
Now I'm beginning to reach around that -4 that this is recommending. So what that means is I'm setting up my no, this is not what I want to do. I'm setting up my I'm setting up my channel, my gain stage. So now I can turn on all these other things for my lead vocal, because immediately I have just pretty much done the gain stage for this track. Okay, and then by the time we'll go ahead and for example, now let's turn on all our reverbs and other things like that. So if I go here, I want to go in here and turn on my reverbs and delays and things like that. So let's turn them all the way on. All right. Okay. So we have that. So now,
I'm supernatural.
so we're beginning to see the effect of what we're doing here, what this plugin, what this template can really do.
My Jesus, you did it all.
So we just went quickly from something that sounded like this, right?
You did it all.
All right, we just went from that. We just went from that to here.
It all.
All right, so we just did that. Now, be careful of these wave tunes. Don't remember to set the your key properly. Okay, for example, this project, let's see, what was this project in? C sharp minor. Okay, C sharp minor. Or we could do E major. Okay, E major is closely C sharp minor, but let's see, C sharp natural minor. All right.
You did it all.
Okay, so we could do that. I know because I produced this song, so I'll probably just take this back to E major, because I know this song is in E major. Okay, another way you could do this is, all right, let me show you one fun fact about this template is that if I bring in the keys, okay, let's go to the keys, and I have the main keys on this song is actually I believe it was just an electric piano. Okay, so for this electric piano, for example, if I have keys 1, I know it's left and right, but what I can do is just change this to a stereo, make sure I pan this back and delete this guy right here. I can take this and drag and drop this. Let's go to the beginning of the song. All right, like I said, it's changing this to 48K. All right, so which is not ideal, but just for the sake of demonstration. All right, now let me show you this fun fact. On this particular track right here, we have these main keys right now. This key, I can, let's check our gain staging. Our gain staging says -7. Okay, so if I just look through, let's just say I go somewhere around the edge that shows the loudest part of the song of this track,
I'm a winner man, a winner man, a winner man, a winner man.
right?
I'm a winner man, a winner man, a winner man, a winner.
Okay, it says I am at like -15, so I might need to add a little bit. I might need to add about 8 dB right here. Just add about 8 dB ish,
I'm a winner man, a winner man, a winner man, a winner man.
and then turn this on, right? Let's just do that.
I am winning. With Jesus, I am winning.
All right, so I have just turned on that track right there. All right, for this. So I've turned it up a little bit. I understand you might be thinking, oh, wait, I'm not seeing it again. So if I drag this gain, if I drag it here, you'll see the change right now.
I'm a winner man, a winner man, a winner man, a winner man.
Right, so we're beginning to get close to that -7. I know this is 8.5 8.4 right here. So this is at 8.4, but we are pretty much close. Like I said, don't complicate the math. And then we can move on from here. What I want to show you here is I have this plugin, this Waves plugin here that says key detector. What is this doing is that on this key detector right now, if we turn it on, we can play this song, this track a little bit.
Nothing can stop me. I'm supernatural. Not a man. I can do the impossible. Hey, with you, nothing can stop me. Oh. With Jesus, I am winning.
So right now I've started to detect, I want to detect the key of this song right now by just detecting from this keyboard right now. So let's see if we're gonna get it right. Sometimes it gets it right.
I can do the impossible. With you, nothing can stop me.
Great. E major. Okay, so it just told us this is at E major. Right. Very correct. And what I can do is I can transmit this E major. I can transmit from here, transmit to every instances of Waves tune that we have on this project. So transmit, key transmitted, key transmitted to all 11 plugins. This is what it means. So now if I go to every place where I have Waves tune, for example, all these soprano tracks, if I check them out, they should already be at E major. All of them. All right. Soprano, soprano 2, soprano 3, all of them, right? Alto 1 at E major, right? If I change this, let's just for the sake of example, if I change this alternative key, it could be D flat minor, which is the same as C sharp minor that I was referring to the other time. I can also transmit this. Boom. You see what I did? D flat minor, natural minor. If I go to auto 1, it's already there. This is a very fast way for you to take the key from your keyboard player. Your keyboard player would likely be, in the key of the song, and you can from there transmit the key very quickly without you having to do it one by one. You can just transmit to all 11 keys. This is a really fantastic way of setting this up. I really like that. Okay, so let's keep this rolling right here. We've just done an example of gain staging and also the lead vocals right there. Also, now you can start using your ears to adjust things. So for example, on these main keys doesn't really need a lot of things, but again, I can still turn on my plugins and still just see what they are doing.
Supernatural.
You can see because we set our gain structure properly, this compressor is beginning to react very slightly to the signal coming in. But because the signal is not crazy and the signal is not super loud or anything like that, you can see what is going on here, right? So, and also the signal is very consistent. It's not, jumping up and down. Okay, so let's also let's say for the purpose of this, let's do our background vocals. Let's see what let's drag them in and see what they can give us. So if I go back to my mix template, let's go to our background vocals right here. We have background vocals, we have soprano, we have tenors, we have altos. So I can go to my BGVs right here and say I have a tenor, I have soprano. So let's bring in all the soprano singers. So we have soprano here, we have soprano here, we have soprano here, we have soprano here. So that means I need 4 tracks and I only have 3 in my template. I can make one more, okay? I can make one more and call this soprano 4. I just duplicated that, right? You can, right click this and duplicate and press this to duplicate track. I believe this is the one. Duplicate, right? You just duplicated that. All right. So now I can duplicate that, right? It's going to duplicate everything on that plugin, everything. And then I can kind of change my panning a little bit, right? So I can take this, kind of do my panning a little differently, right? Maybe have this like this, have this like this, right? Okay, I can just do that. And then we can bring in our sopranos and then drag them here. All right, let's drag them to the beginning of our project right here. And Logic would tell me what do I want to do. Use existing tracks. I want to put them on these 4 existing tracks. It's going to convert all the 4 of them to 48k because our files were in 44.1, and then it's going to just drop them in here. All right, so let's see what happens quickly. It's just going to do all of that. Let's go. All right, so it has dropped them here right now. So let's do our again staging for our, you know, for our tracks right here. So we want to do, if I go to my notes, I know that it's telling me that for all my vocals right now, as you can see, right, if you noticed when we placed our originally, if you, for example, if you see this auto, for example, this auto mic is at -7 dB, this track. But again, pay attention. I mentioned before, once you drag things in, sometimes Logic will just move the entire fader to 0. So be careful of not where where you were before, and you can adjust that level back again. And also feel free to use your ears. The same thing with these lead vocals, these main keys the other time. There is a, but I believe this was on 0 the other time. I wasn't totally sure, but I might be right about that. So let's adjust our gain structure. Let's see what our BGVs are doing. If we turn this on, what is the loudest part in the song? My loudest part should be peaking about -4 ish, right?
I'm supernatural. I'm a rare breed. I'm not a merman. I can do the impossible. I can do the impossible with you by my.
So I'm seeing about -7.5. So what I want to do is add just about 3 dB across the board, right? I want to add just about 3 dB across the board, and then I'll just drag this, hold the option, just put that. So again, we have that done, and then I can turn on all of my, I can turn on all of my sopranos. I can turn on I can turn on every processing that I have for my sopranos. Then we can also turn on the what's it called as well, the parallel compression as well. So let's make sure our parallel compression is also on. All right, we have an 1176 here. So if we play,
I'm a rare breed.
you begin to see that changing because again we've set our gain structure properly. So now we can also turn on the final, on the actual BGV bus itself. We can now turn on all our final processing for the BGV, right? Very easy to use.
It all for me. By your death on the cross, I'm more than.
Now, because we know our tempo is 98, there is a BGV delay right here that is set to ping pong, and just at a milliseconds. We can change this to the host and we can do, whatever kind of whatever kind of, timing we want, 1/16, 1/4, 1/8, right? We can do that, depending if you know the tempo of the song.
I'm more than a conqueror. Jesus, you did it all for me. By the victory you won, I'm more than a conqueror. I'm supernatural.
So something might be going on with my keys. Oh yeah, you see that it was not aligned up properly. Yeah, great. So that should be fine now.
I'm a rare breed. I'm not a merman. I can do the impossible.
All right, so we got that going, right? So again, that's how you just drag and drop things, adjust the gain and turn everything on, you're good to go. All right, let me go to the master bus because we still have things going on the master bus side of things, and it also adds to this. I'll probably bring down my volume right now a little bit because the master bus adds a little bit of volume.
For me, by your death on the cross, I'm more than a conqueror. My Jesus, you did it all for me.
So without doing too much right now, our lead vocals sounds like it's sitting with the BGVs, right? If you can hear that, the BGV is not superly louder than the BGVs, than the lead, and the lead is also sitting with the BGVs. And the keys is not, you don't have to even be adjusting volume and doing a lot of things right now with the keys, right? So the keys has a little bit of reverb that we added here, just a little bit of room verb. Depending on what you need or depending on the kind of song you're looking for. If you want to add a all reverb, you can quickly come down here. You want to send, you want to check for all. If if you're using Logic 11 like I'm doing, you can search and you can add any other thing you're looking for. Boom, right? Great. So now let's try drums or let's try bass. Let's look for a bass. This is my bass right here. Great. So what I want to do is go to my bass track. I want to go to my bass right here, bass guitar right here. I am at 0, which is cool. What I want to do is drag this right here and drag it to the beginning of the song. Okay. And drag this right here to the beginning. All right. Once we drag that, what we want to do is we want to check our gain. What's the recommended fader that we are recommended to use here? It says -11. So great. This looks like it's going to be high, but so let's see what we got.
Jesus, you did it all.
All right, so I see that I'm already hitting minus what? Like I'm already at 0, so I want to bring this up and then turn it back down to like 11, right? Great.
With you by my side, nothing can stop.
And now we turn on our other parallel compression, everything like that. This is my parallel compression channel. You can get to it from here as well. Boom. So there we go. So now our bass should be good to go. For the most part, we should be sitting in the mix as close as possible. So let's see what we got.
Let's take it back to the intro. Oh.
But again, I'm just doing an example right here, right? Depending on your track, depending on your source track, if you still feel that something is still very super high, you can still bring it down a little bit depending on what you were seeing, right? So
this is for the winners, come on.
So depending on what you were seeing, right? Again, just make sure you're using your ears. If I need to bring things down, you can still check it out and bring something down a little bit, right? But this is not the full music, so we can't really judge this bass volume right now until the full music comes in, all right?
Oh, Jesus, you did it.
But so now let's try drums. Let's try drums so that we wrap this up. So let's see. We have kick, we have sub kick, okay, kick in, kick out. Okay, so let's see. I'll go all the way in here. I'll zoom in to bar number 1 right here. So let's see. We have kick in. I'll drag in and drop kick in. All right. There we go. We're gonna add kick out or sub kick. I'm gonna increase this a little bit so we can see what is going on properly. Right, we have the snare. We got the snare right there. This is the snare top. We have the snare bottom. All right. And Let's talk about the IAT. So we have an IAT right here. Okay, so something I didn't pay attention to, even myself, I was supposed to pay attention to. And logic is very interesting. Now my volume are not going back to where they're supposed to go to. And truthfully, I don't even know the actual level from the top of my head. But we use our ears, and that's a lesson to learn as well from that. So let's go on to toms. So first thing I would want to do is always see where I'm at, minus 14. Uh, so minus 14 is where I'm supposed to be at on this one. So we could drag this back down to, oh, I see, this controls where I'm going to be. Oh, now we see, okay. So minus 14, all right. And tom 2 was at about minus 10-ish. Okay, great. Again, this was set up based on the material that I had at my hand at that time. So let's see, we have a minus 10 now. Okay, this is gonna be at what, 11.2. Okay, 11.2. We're gonna drag this all the way up to 11.2 once the file converts. Right, so we're at about 11. Again, don't overcomplicate it. So I think I only have 3 toms in this particular track. No problem. Let's go to overheads. We have overheads left and right. Overhead left and right. There we go. Minus 19. So this is going to be at minus 19 for sure, because they are grouped. Overhead left and right are grouped together. All right. And this right down. Again, we're going to take it back to minus 19. Okay. Rooms mono. We don't have a rooms mono here, but what we can do is do this and call this room. Okay, room can also be in the overhead groups. I'll do that. I might do that and put rooms in the overhead group, and we can treat it very differently a little bit. Okay, I'll probably also put it at about minus 19 for now until we see what it sounds like, and we use our ears as we go on. All right. So now let's try to mix these drums. Okay, let's try to mix these drums. I'm gonna mute all the other channels here. I'm gonna mute all the other channels just so that we can quickly mix these drums. So what do we want to do with these drums? Like I said, we made a mistake. We didn't check our levels here on the kicking, but what we gotta do is use our ears. So, but let's start with our gain staging first of all. Oh, did I put in hi-hat? Okay, I gotta put in hi-hat. Hi-hat is right here. It says minus 15. All right, we drop it in here and we adjust back to minus 15. Okay, so we go to minus 15. All right. So now we got this to minus 15. Now let's talk about our gain staging. If we go to the note section, hi-hat says, I'm going to mute everything else. Okay, I'm going to mute everything else. Let's start with the hi-hat. Hi-hat says about minus 13. I should be peaking at minus 13. So our loudest part in the song, maybe somewhere around here, right? Let's see what we got. All right, I'm seeing about minus 8, right? And I want to be at minus 13, so I'll bring it down minus 5-ish. Okay, and we should be close enough, right? Then I'll turn on my processing. Okay, great. What we just did here is we're compressing and we are running off a lot of things that we don't need. I'm bringing up the brightness of the hi-hat. Very simple processing on the hi-hat. So let's go to the kick drum. Let's go to kick drum, kick in. It says -7. Let's see, what do we have on the kick in itself? Okay, so we're gonna be at, I'm seeing almost close to what we want to be at. Yeah, pretty much close to where we want to be at. The only thing is we need to check out our gain level later on. So let's keep going. Then I'll turn on all these other things that we have here. Now we can tweak again at some point depending on what we see. So this one, kick out. Let's see. What do we got? All right, -11. So I might bring this in here and just dial it back down by about -3-ish to get me to -11, because this is a -8, -9, right? Again, the math is not to be overcomplicated. All right, so now what we want to check out, let's check out our phase. Okay, what do I mean by phase? Sometimes if you are playing two kick drums together, one of them will cancel out the low end of the other. So let's check for our phase. And what we still use our gain plugin to check for our phase, to adjust our phase. Okay, so you see, when I phase invert one of these, either this or this, when I phase invert one, the low end, if you're listening on an headphone, bring it up a little bit. Or if you're listening on a speaker, bring it up a little bit. You will feel that something disappeared, something begin to miss. All right? This is okay, but if I bring this up, if I flip it back, I heard a little bit more thumb, a little bit more all right? I hear a little bit more hum. All right? And then if I flip this, it's just there, it's just dry, and it's just, dry, no low end. So you want to make sure your kick drum, naturally, without any processing, both of them are in phase, and you know that they are in phase when you hear that thump. And when you flip this on, you either hear it more or you hear it less. You want to keep it at where you hear it more. So now I will take this off, because I can know that this original files that was sent to me, they are in phase. All right, they are not out of phase. Then we close this. Now let's turn on all our other processing right here and right here. Let's see what that does to our drums right away. Okay, do we have our parallel compression? Okay, all right, great. So it brings down the volume completely so that it matches with the other music and everything else, right? But you can hear the kick drum begin to come alive. And if I need anything else to add to the kick drum, we can start adding based on when we had the other music inside of it, right? Great. Let's keep it going. Kick smash. We have something here that we call kick smash. This is just something to give the kick a little bit more attack. So if I take out the kick smash, or if I solo the kick smash, so it's adding a little bit of something to the entire kick. All right, so let's go to snare very quickly. So what do we have for snare? Let me mute the kick right now. What do we have for snare? We want to be at -3 at the top of everything. So I think we are literally there around -3. Yeah, we're pretty much there. So nothing to really worry about there. On the snare bottom, what do we have? Right, what do we have on the snare bottom? Okay, I need to bring the snare bottom down by like 6 dB, because I'm seeing 5 to 6 dB. So I'll bring it down by like 5 dB right there. And again, we'll still adjust this. Remember, we didn't note our volume the other time properly. All right. So we'll adjust our levels as we go on with the music, as we go on with the full drums. Okay. So now let's see. There's a gate. We didn't need this gate plugin, so we can leave it on or off. There's a gate plugin here just to help you with your, with getting out the other things you don't need from the snare drums. Once you set your gain properly, you shouldn't really have a lot of trouble with this gate. It should work quite okay for you. The same here as well. If we go to the snare bottom gate right here, it's okay to let other things come through a little by little because you don't want it to, be sounding unnatural. So now let's turn on all our other plugins for both of them, and everything else we have for snares. And let's see what we get out of the gate. Right out of the gate, what do we get? You can see how our drums begin to sound immediately. So I will bring this down a little bit because I can already see that my dBx1 dB is compressing about 10 dB. Now this doesn't sound bad. I just want to bring it down a little bit because, like I said, we didn't note our levels properly the other time, right? So let's bring it down a little bit. All right, let's bring in the kick and the hi-hat. Okay. So we're already getting great sounds out of the gate. Now, trigger snare, the way it works, if you have trigger 2 and you want to add some triggers, you can use it. If you have trigger, turn it on and see what you get, right? So let's solo just the trigger snare. These are snares from Slate Digitals, just in case you're wondering. These are just snares that comes with this trigger snare. All right, and we have also snare smash. Okay, this snare smash is also very nice. It just smashes the entire snare. So if we put all of them together, so we're getting there, right? We're beginning to get there. So now let's bring in our toms. Let's bring in our toms. Let's see toms 1. All right. I'm gonna mute these other guys so that we can focus on the toms. So toms 1 say at the highest peak we want to be somewhere about. I'm just gonna look at the signal, right, and see, kind of find maybe my highest peak, just by using my eyes a little bit. Now that's not the best way, but this will get you there very quickly, and then you adjust as you go. So if we check this transient right here, and we'll see what is our it doing. So it says I want to be at -2. Okay, I might have to add about 4 dB here, just about 4 dB, right? Okay, and now I'm at about -2, and then my gate should probably work decently okay. Okay. Let's compare. So this gate is still coming through, or do I have? Oh, hi-hat is on. Oh, I was wondering, like, why am I still getting signal? Interesting. All right, so let's go back to where our signal is. So you see, nothing is coming through. Right? Great. That's what we want. We want it to sound as clean as possible without sounding unnatural. Let's go to thumbs number 2. We want to be at -4. So what do we have at thumbs 2? We are close enough. I might just add just 1 dB. Just 1 dB to this. So this is actually a 3 thumbs session. So we only have thumb 1, thumb 2, and thumb 3. So in a case like this, because we EQ things differently, I will put thumb 3, I'll put it actually in thumb 4, and I'll put thumb 2, and I'll put it here. There's a reason why I'm doing that. All right. The reason is because the way this is EQ'd is a little different, right? But let's see what we get. So if I turn on all the other plugins, thumb 1 will sound like this. You see that? Thumb 1 begins to sound really nice. We are coming from here, and now we're going here. It's bringing up that tone that we want, and it's reducing a lot of the sustain that we don't want. I like that. Versus, and then it's getting out a lot of things that we don't need as well. Okay. Thumb 3 right here. So what do we want? We want to be at about -3. Okay, great. This was about minus what the other time? Yeah, great. So we are there right now. So we get this, we bring up our gate, and we turn on the other things. So now I'm beginning to clip, which I don't want. But don't worry, because normally, because we have this reduced, if I would have changed my fader to post fader metering, you would not see this. So right, you see that? So I just like to be in pre-fader monitoring sometimes. And if you are the kind of person like me who like pre-fader metering and you don't like seeing the red, you can do what? Adjust your gain again. You can adjust your gain structure the way you want. You can come to any of this plugin here and bring the output down, whatever way you want, right? You see that? You could do that, and your red is out of the way, if that's what you want. All right, let's go to thumbs 4. Thumbs 4 is, it says -13. Interesting. Okay, at about -13, let's find our highest peak on thumbs 4, somewhere around here. Thumbs 3. Okay, what do I get? I get about -7. I want to just bring this down a little bit. Okay, by -6-ish, right? And then we set our gate. Thumbs 4, or the floor thumbs, is one of the very interesting gate to set, because a lot of times drummers like to write thumb 4, and sometimes you just want to leave it very open so that you don't miss all those things they are doing on those floor thumbs. And then I just adjusted it a little bit, just a little bit, so that we don't mix all the things going on there. And now let's see what we got. So for our thumbs, yeah, let's see what we got. So we want to adjust our gate a little bit, because something. So let's see what we have here. Okay. All right, so I'll go back now. There's this particular sound that I'm hearing, like a click sound. I don't know where it's coming from. Let's see. Oh, okay, it's from the thumb 3. Okay, is it our gate? All right, great. It's from our gate. It's picking up something. It's trying to pick up the transient of this floor thumb. Okay, so I will just adjust that gate very slightly. Great, and we are there. All right. Now we turn on our reverbs. Okay, now I can bring up my floor thumb if I need to. Okay, so what do we want to do? Let's go to our overheads. Okay, overhead says minus 2 dB peak level. All right, let's see what we get. If I unmute them, okay, what am I gonna get for overhead left? Oh, I gotta unmute the boss. All right, I might need to just bring this up. Well, let's just be sure we are on the highest level. Somewhere around here looks like it's the highest point for me. Okay. All right, somewhere around here. All right, you see that? Great. So we don't need that much. We just need maybe like 1 to 2 dB. The same thing is going to be for overheads too because they're supposed to be a pair, right? I just try to make sure I match that. Great. And for rooms, this is going to be something we are going to have to... Oh, I'm supposed to be a minus 19. I'm going to take out the room from the group settings and we adjust with our here. So usually what you want to do to a room mic is you want to I want to add like a compressor to it. I don't need a gain right here because again, I don't need a gain for it. I'll cut out a lot of low ends. I could do that, right? Then blend it in along with the overhead itself. So let's hear the overhead. It just gives a little more depth, right? Just gives us a little more depth on that overheads right there. So now let's try and blend everything together, right? Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get, blending everything together. And we could do a quick drum mix from our boss levels. If I want, I can go to my kick drums right here and give it a little more snap, right? I could come to my top end right here around this 5K area. I can boost it up a little bit more, right? So very quickly, we have a drum mix, all right, that went from, let's see, from this. If I turn off, right, if I turn off everything that we have, oh, if I turn off everything that we have right now, let's see, let's try to turn off everything we got, right? This is everything we have for all the drums, right? And then it goes, this is how we sound like. And then we went from that, we went to this, right? You see. And then we had our bass, right? Let's see where our BGVs are. So now this is just the soprano. I still have alto, I still have tenors, right? But then I still have lead vocal. I still have a lot of other instruments that we can bring in as well, right? We still have, for example, we have our guitars right here. You know, you can increase the amount of guitar levels, bring them in, blend them the way you want, and before you know it, in a very few, I was doing a lot of explaining in an hour or two. You have a mix that is sounding good, and then you can now tweak it, fine tune it, and take it from there, right? All right, so we got drums, we got bass, we can still balance them even more. But now let's talk about if this is your, let's say you have a solid, you're going to be using after you're done with this. Let's say you are a content creator, you want to set this up for your drums, and you've done your drum mix, right? You like the way it's sounding, you want to now save this as your own template. How do you do that? First thing you could do is, let's do this instead. You can now take this and save as template, right? You can save this as your own template moving forward. Now, I wouldn't do it this way. One of the things I would do first of all is to first of all save this file somewhere. I would say save a copy as. Let's just save a copy as somewhere. Let's just do. Let's just go to my download and just say, my template. I will just say save as my template, okay? And then I will say save, right? We're just saving, okay? Save as my template. So now let's go open my template now. Let's see, open, right? Let's go to my downloads. I saved something in here, my template, right? Let's see where we can find that. Let's say date. Okay, this is it right here. I can say open. Okay, I won't close what I'm working on. I'm just going to open this, my template that we're saving. So let's say you want to do this. When you open this up as your template, say you've done with everything, I will click delete this, right? I'll delete all the files, and then I will now save, I will save this particular, my template. I will save it as template inside of Logic. Right, I will save my new MJP template, whatever you want to call it. Once you're done mixing and you like what you're doing, you save this as a template, right? Boom. Okay, you've saved this so that next time when you want to open this your template up, right, you say new from template. Let's close this one. Don't save. Okay, so this is the one I was working on. Let's see. Open new from template. Don't close. I won't close this. If I go to my project template right here, or my template, then you want to go to what? My MJP, my new MJP template. This is the one that we just saved right now, right? And you can just open it. Boom. And you have your template ready to go for you, right? If you're using this for like a live stream, and things like that, you want to make sure you set up your input. Okay, that's one thing I have not touched yet. If you're using this for your template, you want to set up your input. So ensure on your mixer or wherever you're getting your input from, all right, you want to turn this on. You want to say, oh, input 1, right? Let's say hi-hat is input 1. We'll put it in input 1. Let's say kick is what? Input 2, right? You want to set up your input for all the tracks that you need, all right? Snare top, you have a snare top mic, input number what? Number 4. I'm just, giving an example. Input number 5, right? Do all of that, right? Input number 6, input number, right, 7, right? When you do all this and you put your input, one thing you also want to do is turn on the input monitoring. Okay, so for example, this is input monitoring high right here, right? You want to make sure they are on so that when anybody is playing, right, you have channel coming through. Okay, when anybody is playing, you have channel coming through. Let's say if you have a lead vocal, for example, set up all your tracks, set them up properly, put your inputs in there, and turn on the input monitoring for all of them. Okay, turn them on so that when you are playing for live stream, and once you've done that for all your tracks, what you want to do next is now save as template, like we've discussed. All right, you want to save as template as we discussed. Okay, once you do that, you are good to go. The next time you want to do your live stream, you go to your what? New from template every time. I'm not closing this one, and you click your my new MJP template. Everything should be ready for you, depending on whatever name you save it with, and you load it, right? And it loads your template for you, and you start live streaming, you start recording, and everything will be sounding as great as you left it, because you set up your mix with your particular instrument, with your same audio, with your same gain staging, everything. You've done that yourself. You've done everything, right? Be careful of the key detector plugin and how you are using the waves tune. If you know that you don't have the patience to be detecting the key and be putting in the if you don't have the patience of detecting the key and putting in just turn it off. Turn off the waves detector plugin, and turn off all the waves tune in your project. You can turn them completely off. You don't need to have them in there. All right. Just wanted to bring that up. Okay. So this is the old template. Very, very easy, very, very simple, very, very intuitive. And then you can always, check out your master bus processing as well. Bring that up at the end of the day. So just depending on how you want to use it. Like I said, very intuitive, very easy to use. If any questions, always reach out. And also, if you're going to be using this for your live stream template, always check your buffer size settings, right? If I go to my settings, audio, you always want to check your buffer size, right? Ensure the buffer size you're using matches with your video for your project. You want to apply that and you want to use that judiciously. Okay? It's going to change my buffer size settings and it's going to roll from there. Okay, there's nothing else. Again, it's a template. It's not final. It's not final. Always use your ears, adjust things, adjust all your gain stages, and you should be good. All right. Cheers. Thank you very much.